excited to be here with Heidi and Carla of the Butcher Babies, bringing the Full Metal Assault to Racine, Wisconsin, in support of Lilith. Nice album, guys. Very nice. Now, we first caught up with you guys like 5 years ago when your first album, Goliath, had just come out, which was really raw, raucous assault. With Lilith, you're still bringing it. You still got the energy, but things are a little more refined, a little more melodic. Was that a natural progression?
Well, you know, if you remember on Goliath, there is a ton of melodic songs on there as well, and big harmonies. I think the main difference is we're doing more harmonizing with our voices, so that's a big difference. And also the whole sound overall has matured. We've been a band for 9 years now, and you know, especially with this album, we had time to take a year off and really spend a great deal of time working on each song, throwing them out, reintroducing them, rehashing them, and making the best album that we could possibly make. We also have a new drummer who brought in kind of a new influence, some new influences. He's a jazz drummer, so we've had just a new flair on this whole album. It's been kind of a rebirth. But any band that's been a band for 9 years is going to grow and evolve and change and try new things. So this album should be more developed.
You can hear, as you said, the growth of the band. When we first started this band, almost a decade ago, we were young girls. I mean, we're still young girls, but we've developed into women, and you can definitely hear that evolution from our first album, Goliath, to our second album, Take It Like a Man, to Lilith, where we sound like women, and we're writing about topics that we face as women, and I think that that's something that is very unique and different about Lilith.
Well, I'm thinking about the hooks, like with something like Headspin. Nobody's going to accuse you guys of being poison, but if radio was still friendly, that would be a very radio-friendly song. I mean, it grabs you like that.
Yeah, thank you. It has been on radio, so we're pretty excited
Some radio
about that.
is friendly, I should say that.
Yeah, I bet that was kind of our answer to radio in a way. When we were kids, we all dreamed of, waking up in the morning or mid-afternoon, as we do, and hearing your song on the radio. And, something that actually happened today that was really cool. We were on the way to the radio station to do an acoustic set, and we heard Look What We've Done, our new single. So that was really cool. It is a unique thing, and that's something that, when we first started this band, we didn't know exactly where we wanted to take it. We just wanted to play some music on the Sunset Strip with our best friends, and as soon as it started gaining some notoriety, we started experimenting with our sound, and so that was kind of, Headspin was our answer to radio with the big anthemic chorus, and it's fun for us to play, and I love seeing our fans' reaction to us doing something different. They welcome it, they're excited about it, as are we.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Look What We've Done, the new single. What's the process that goes into picking what's going to be the next single? Is there some fighting over it, or this one should be, or this one needs to be out there?
I think it's a little bit of everything, but I think that in this case it was pretty obvious that song is very radio friendly, more so than a song like Pomona on the album with the 52 fucks in it.
You guys keep jumping into what I want to ask about.
Sorry. Hey, we're on the same wave
here. Let's jump to Pomona. Was there an actual incident? I won't ask you to name names, but was there an incident that inspired
Jimmy?
Pomona?
I'm kidding. There's no Jimmy.
I think that Pomona is the product of many incidents in one song.
Not all good incidents.
We've been friends for 10 years, so we've had fun experiences together over the years. And
I think a lot of people can relate to what Pomona is about. You wake up in the morning
in a parking lot,
or somewhere where you're like, what happened last night? And you look around and you're just confused. You look at your friends. What happened? I mean, that was something that I think a lot of people have dealt with. And when we were writing Pomona, we wanted to do something kind of silly, kind of to showcase who we are. We're just silly kids. Not, kids, but we're silly, just a bunch of big dorks. And so, we take our music seriously, but we also wanted to put a little bit of our personality into it. And if you listen to like institutionalized kind of storytelling, and we wanted to take an instance and something that a lot of people can relate to and turn it into an fuck. and it came together like this. It was so easy to write because we all sat down together, and it was just like, and then this, and then this, and then this. And then Chase, our drummer, he's just like, what if we just say the F word on the snare beat? And we're like, oh my God, you're a genius.
So little things like that.
So we kept it, and it's so fun to look out in the crowd, and everyone just has that release. I think that's what's beautiful, obviously, about music in general, but when you just because everyone's had that moment, whether it's your tire goes flat, you missed your alarm and you're late to work, the red light keeps hitting you, everyone has that moment. So for us, it was really fun to write about.
And that's very much a metal thing. You guys are bonding. You're very much a people's band, and it's there's really not a lot of separation between the stage and the audience, and people are in it. And that seems kind of these days unique to metal.
I think that nowadays, I think people need to be a little bit more accessible. I feel like, when we were kids and we watched our favorite bands on MTV, and they just, they were so, how do I write to their fan club? And now it's like, it's so easy to slide into the DMs or, write on someone's Instagram. We're easily accessible, and I just think that that's with the times. And I think we welcomed it at a very early point in our career, because with the age of social media comes being personable with people. And we grew up we were fans of music, and music saved all of us. And so hearing people have these stories for us about, this song did this for me, or this song did that for me, we want to hear those things. And so we want to be accessible. We want people to be able to reach out to us and tell us their stories. Because when we were kids, we rarely ever got to do that.
You'd have to wait outside of a tour bus for hours and hoping someone would come out and come over to the side rail or something, just so you could shake their hand for a second. But
well, now we talked about this. You guys have been a band for almost a decade now. So it's one thing to be a young kid with a lot of energy. I'm going to take on the world. I'm going to put a band together. We're going to do this. It's whole other thing to ride it out and through thick and thin and take the hits. What's been the most challenging aspect?
Oh gosh, I mean, I don't think it's so much of a challenge when you're constantly doing new things. We have new experiences together all the time, like going to the Philippines together, going to Japan together, touring through Europe, walking around the streets of Prague together for the first time. So we try to keep it fresh by being friends and by, checking out places together, traveling and getting off the bus, enjoying the culture around us as we're, touring, instead of just sitting on the bus all day waiting for the show, having Groundhog's Day every day. And I don't know, we are genuinely excited to be doing what we're doing.
Well, I was telling someone, I think it's like at 10 years is when you're supposed to get jaded, so I have another year left before. I'm just kidding, but no.
Thankfully, she doesn't have a watch.
No, but the thing is that we wake up every day and we love what we do, and when we step on stage, it's a new day. There are days when you wake up in your bunk and you're not feeling your best, your voice hurts, or your back hurts, or maybe you had a tiff with one of the band members, and you're just like, ah. But really, when it comes down to it, we're 5 best friends. First and foremost, and we're 5 best friends who get to tour the world and do cool shit together, and we keep that in mind, and that's the reality of it, and with Lilith here, this album, we call it kind of our rebirth, because we did take a year off to write and record, but we also had a member change.
Best year of my life. Just kidding.
we had a member change that brought a whole new fresh energy into the band, and I think just even just looking at things from a different perspective, like slightly sometimes, offers a rebirth. Like when you were asking that question, I kind of just had a weird flashback into when we first started this band, And who would have thought that 10 years later you've been like, you're a band for 10 years, how do you keep it fresh? Like, I never imagined that someone would ever ask me that question. So it is like, you know, if we keep having that idea of like, wow, like this is our dream, this is what we would lay in bed when we were 11 years old and stick in our headphones and listen to whatever band we were listening to, pretending we're the lead singer, jumping around the stage. You know, those are memories you don't forget.
Yeah.
And so when we step on stage, we're our 11-year-old selves again,
Cool.
jumping around in our brains.
Well, and that's the power of rock and roll, to make you young again. Now, as I mentioned, Butcher Babies, very much a people's band. What do the fans need to know? What's coming up? What's going on?
I mean, gosh, we have a great tour that we're out on right now with Nonpoint, Sumo Psycho, and Islander is joining us in just a couple days. So from start to finish, this package is a party. It's got something for everybody and very, very high energy. So we're really excited to continue this tour all the way through June 15th. We've got big plans for the rest of the year that we can't talk about yet. But
Always.
But, you know, make sure that you get Lilith. Our new set is very new song heavy. So learn all the songs, and we've got a bunch of surprises for you off Lilith.
Learn Pomona first.
Definitely Pomona.
It's pretty easy. There's 52 of the same word in there, if you can guess what it is.
Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. We really love what you're keeping rock and roll alive for so many of us. And you're living the dream so that we can just show up and take part in it. Thank you very much.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Butcher Baby.